on to month 2 for you. How are you kind of seeing and feeling the game better here as you've gotten into June?
Yeah, I'm adapting pretty well, just taking it game by game and just trying to do what my team needs from me.
What has kind of clicked for you in these first set of games, you think? The numbers are adding up and we're seeing them. What are you feeling out there?
Just being physical, being a post presence, offensively and defensively. Staying out of foul trouble, I think, is something that I'm getting better at, or I'm being able to focus on it more, so yeah.
A couple of losses in these last 2 games, but it seems like good progress for this team. How do you guys kind of quantify what's being progress here?
Yeah, I mean, we go back and we look at film. I mean, we've played against some of the best in our league right off the bat, and I think we've just shown that we compete and we're going to give it our all, and the wins are going to come. They're going to add up.
How do you close out? It's kind of been the 2 things in these 2 games here. What's the fourth quarter kind of been the difference in trying to figure that out?
Yeah, just making sure that we're executing and understanding to put pressure on them and get a defensive stop. But I think as we take possession by possession, we go through film, we look at it, and we just see the areas that we got to clean up.
Some of these practice minutes are hard to come by when you've got such a busy game schedule. Kind of how do you all try to take advantage of these couple of hours here that you don't get very often in this middle part of the season?
Yeah, I mean, once we're on the court and we're focused. You know, as you said, the games come fast, and we just have to be ready for them. So when we get on here, we are engaged and we're understanding what the team does.
Is this game planning for you at this level any different than it was in college?
I mean, it's just a little bit quicker, but at the same time, we're getting a feel of them. Sometimes you've already played teams twice already, and so you're understanding a good feel. So the less time we have, it's okay, because I think we've already got a feel of them.
That's it.
Yeah, you have all-star voting open. Is that something you think about? You could be an all-star in your rookie season?
I mean, that would be kind of dope. But honestly, it's not something I'm worried about. Just worried about this circle and what we're doing here.
That's the only question.
Oh, thank you.
A couple of losses in the last 2 games, but how do you quantify progress with this team? Because it feels like steps are still being taken forward.
I think so. I think you guys are looking at a different team based on what history says. Competitive nature is there. We're competing with some of the best in the world, so I think for us it's about taking those constant steps and doing the work that nobody sees. So as long as we keep clocking in our hours individually and as a group, I think we're gonna change 1 to 5 and the 5 to 5, 5 and 5, 6 and 5, and it'll come over time. You just gotta stay patient.
The games come at you quickly when the schedule's this busy, so the practices can be few and far between. How do you all take advantage of these days when you get them?
I won't speak for everybody individually on the team, but I would say it's about just finding shot mechanics, looking at a little film, knowing, roll and replays, just movement, details, stuff like that. And then as a group, we come in and we try to do that as a group based on what the film says. Like I said, we watched Chicago yesterday and it was tough, and we watched it this morning. And then you see it, it's like, we that close. It's just small discipline stuff. And so we just take all these little bitty time that we can to get in on the details and try to figure it out once we step into practice.
With such a young group, do you get a sense that they're learning a lot out of the film sessions? Because that can be a new thing for some people.
Some people look at film like, they're getting on me, but I think film is just effective because you can just kind of see individually where you need to be and what the coach requires and kind of let it play from there. But I think film is effective. I'm just now getting hip to it myself. And film wasn't my thing, so I used to hate seeing myself on camera like, what was that? But I think they all adjust, and I think we as a group are adjusting.
What's the most different thing for you then about that perspective? Looking at it from kind of that third person, and it's different than being in it.
All I can honestly tell you, man, about that part of it is just growth. You just grow. You need experience to kind of figure out how to be a pro, man. And I think these young ones are figuring that out. And I think as a group, once Coach Christie and Coach Jesse and all those guys keep getting acclimated, this is new for all of us. And so we all at a point where all we can do is just bite piece by piece and build brick by brick. And I think we're gonna have some success. With
the rookies in particular, do you see things clicking for them quicker now that they're into the second month?
Yeah, AB, man. AB is one of those guys. AB. Even our second year's list queen, I mean, the ability to retain and the ability to kind of go from team to team within routine a day, I think it just shows the growth that we made and how mature our team is actually, even though we have a young group.
Cool. Thank you.
Of course.
Yeah, what did it mean to you to win the community leadership award?
For me, I looked at it like it was normal, to be honest. I looked at it like, I want to do what somebody did for me when I was growing up, and I didn't look at it like it as an award, but to be recognized for it just goes to show the growth of my organization and everything I've been trying to do. I'm a firm believer that the future is the future. So we got to invest in them for change that society to have, like for us to have change and for society to be built up, we got to invest into the youth. And I think that's my job. That's my priority.
And what went into building the Kelsey Foundation?
Where I come from Cincinnati, Ohio, city. I'm a city kid, and I think anybody know what that looks like and where I come from. You gotta find something that you're passionate about and try to stay out as much drama as possible. And with that, I think me giving back to the kids in the community, me giving back to the people of the community, whether it be adults, elderly. So we just try to do as much as we can to just make all that love be showered on our youth.
Yeah, and you're kind of in the running for an all-star this season. Like, what would it mean to be,
She is in the running for it.
It would be a good feeling. I would be very excited to be a part of that. But this is what's important to me right now. I want to be as consistent as possible individually. I want to stay confident and stay aggressive. And if that happens, by all means, I'm grateful. By all means. But I'm focused on the work right now.
Do you think Aliyah has a chance to be
She better. She freaking better. Her consistency and her ability at this young age to be able to go and flourish like she's been a part of it just goes to show who she is.
Thank you, Kelsey.
For sure. 2 losses out of these games, but it feels like progress. How do you kind of quantify these last 2?
Yeah, progress. I definitely, we've been here a month and we've got a whole new team. We have young players. They're gelling. They're figuring some things out. We've been really working on some of those lapses where we have like 5-7 minute change of possessions where we are just not locked in. We're focusing on those. We're getting better. We're learning to play at a high level. Those moral victories are just hard when you're right there. It's just tough because you want it for them. Like my heart just broke for them after that Chicago game and the Vegas game because we were, in control of that game as well. But it's going to come, and they understand it. We talk about it every day.
It seems like the energy is here, though. A very positive vibe about the whole thing. Is that kind of a big part of this as you get into the next part of the schedule?
For sure, huge. I mean, that's what, when a team's lost some close ones, you can kind of get down on yourself. And I mean, I think we're sitting in a really good position because we're right there with, 3 of those teams that we got beat by 5 or less points by the 3 best teams in the league. So that's a huge plus. It's just hard you have to keep saying that. So when that light turns on and we get that win, I think we'll be moving in a different direction and they'll have a different feel. But so proud of them for what you just said, the energy coming out.
For these first and second year players, is there something that you need to see specifically that they're getting it now, or is it kind of a laundry list of things where you'll feel like they've gotten over a hump of some sort?
Yeah, I think there's quite a few things. One of them being Jesse Miller, my assistant, made a great point here in video. We were watching some of the Chicago game, and the way they jumped on us in a half-court set, their defense was incredible. It's stifling. We had an opportunity to do the same thing to them, and we showed them how they were off of certain players and not closing down space. And if you take away things, it makes it a lot harder to work in those kind of spaces. So just showing those things, how important just closing down people's spaces.
Kelsey and Aliyah both talked to us about film and how important it's become for this group. Do you think they're starting to understand kind of from that third-person perspective how they're seeing things and learning from that?
Yeah. Our first day of film, I told them, this isn't a I'm going to call you out session. You have to be very mature and, video doesn't lie. So when you watch the video with them, they're able to see the things that they're doing wrong. And a lot of times in games, it's happening so fast you just don't realize something that could have happened that you could have changed or fixed. And so they're able to watch those and they're handling it very well and they're asking a lot of great questions. So it is a great tool for us to get better. All right.
Yeah, you kind of started the season against the Sun, the Aces, the top teams in the league. Do you feel better now that you kind of have that behind you and you're kind of...
Yeah, those are all, we go into every game with the intentions to, regardless of who it is, to get a win. Some of those they have been the top teams in the league, and I'm just proud of them for, they don't even think about that. They're playing hard every possession. They're preparing for every game. We're in a stretch right now where we play and then we have a travel and we play and then we travel. And that's tough, especially for such young players who haven't experienced that before, able to have a heartbreaking loss and then turn around and do it again.
And Aliyah said it would be dope to be an all-star in her first year. Do you think that's something that's attainable for her, or what do you think are her chances?
For sure. I think she's playing at a level right now. Her shooting percentage is incredible. She is I definitely think it's attainable, and it would be really dope if Aliyah Boston was an all-star this year. But she works like an all-star, and that's what's important.